Howdy, y'all, and welcome to episode 4 of season 4 of the Gospelovergimmicks podcast. Today, we're going to go over the dispensation of human government. Let's get after it. Welcome to a new episode of Gospelovergimmicks. I'm your host, Richard Stormin Norman, here to tell you everything I know and some things I highly suspect. Today we're going to be discussing the dispensation of human government, which is what, the third dispensation we're going over in this series. So we're almost halfway there. Before we get into that, as always, how are you doing? How are you guys out there in listener land doing? As you can tell by my attire, it's game day, y'all. It is game day. College football is kicking off here in the United States. It's a much bigger deal for people in the South than it is for the people in the North. Now, granted, my team is basically the only team playing today. So for most other people, college football don't start till next weekend. But my team's playing today, so I'm stoked about that. And I've been working a lot of overtime lately. Not a fan of it. In fact, they wanted me to come in today, but I was like, probably not gonna happen. Yesterday was wife-elect's birthday, so she had to work, but she's off today, so we're gonna hang out today. So I was like, I can't really go to work when it's her birthday. I mean, they didn't ask and I didn't tell them, but if they did ask, as I was gonna tell them, so I can't go to work on her birthday. Anyway, I'll be glad when they hire a new guy. I saw a dude they were interviewing. Hopefully they hire him so we can go back to working our regular time. So we got some comments this week. Now I knew whenever we started doing a series on dispensationalism, I was like, that's probably gonna bring out the haters. So I had one dude commenting. He was actually commenting on somebody else's comment, and we talked back and forth. And his comment wasn't even rude. He wasn't rude. If you're gonna disagree with somebody, that's the way you want to do it there. So I ain't got no problems with that dude at all. We disagree, obviously, but at least he did it in a civil manner, and I replied in a civil manner. So sorry I couldn't get. If he's watching, I doubt he is, but if he's watching, sorry I couldn't get back and reply to your last comment. Like I said, all the overtime I've been working, I've just been too busy to get back on there and respond to comments. And we had another guy comment on a video I did years ago. I'm not even sure if he was disagreeing with me or agreeing with me. I'm not real sure what his comment was about, but that's a good thing. I mean, comments on my videos, nothing wrong with comments on my videos, especially when you do it like those guys did and you're nice and civil, like Christians ought to be toward one another. So if you come in all nasty and hateful, I don't really think you're worth my time. So there's been other people that have commented before that have commented on my videos before, and I'll read their comment and be like, that ain't worth my time, and I don't answer them back. So nothing wrong with comments as long as you do it correctly. The website, I worked on the website last Sunday, and it's actually coming along pretty good. I've kind of got an idea of the finishing touches I want to put on it. So look for that coming by the end of this season. I know I keep saying that it's coming and it ain't come yet, but I'm trying. I'm working on it. Maybe I'll probably won't get a chance to work on it again tomorrow, but it's coming. I don't have much left on it, to finish it up. So hopefully it'll be finished by the end of this season. Bible study contest. It dawned on me the other day, I think I was on my lunch break, but it dawned on me that we're at the end of the month already, the end of August already. So that means in September we're going to do a Bible study, because that's how we do things around here. So let me get my list. I just had it, literally just there it is. This is where I keep my list of all the episodes we've done, all the videos at least. This will be video 172. I got a list in the back of all the biographies and Bible studies we've done. Okay, here we go. Here's the Bible. I'll probably, if you're on Facebook, I'll probably post this on the Facebook page, because y'all know how we do Bible study contest. If you're new here, I'll explain it. It's kind of like the Bible giveaway contest, except you don't actually win anything. But if there is a book of the, or not a book, a chapter, because we do chapters. If there's a chapter in the Bible that you would like me to do a Bible study on, then put it in the comments of this video, and we will randomly pick one. And if yours is the one that wins, then we will do a verse by verse Bible study on that at the end of September. So we got 10. We've done 10 of them so far. Let me tell you which ones they are. I want to tell you this because I'm always worried that the one that wins is going to be one we already did before. So we've done Romans chapter 1. We've done 2 Corinthians chapter 12. We've done Matthew chapter 6. John chapter 16, Proverbs chapter 3, Psalm 23, Ecclesiastes chapter 5, 1 Corinthians 14, 1 Samuel 17, and Acts chapter 2. So those, I'll put those on the screen for you so you can see them. So those are the ones we've done. So don't nominate them because we've already done them. But if you got a chapter, if you just got a verse that's been on your mind, been on your heart, God's been speaking to you through it, or you got a chapter, just comment it and put it in the comments down yonder at the bottom, and we will do a random drawing in a week before I record the next podcast, and we'll pick a winner in your whatever chapter. Well, if you pick the verse, we'll do the whole chapter, but whatever chapter it is you picked, we will do a verse by verse Bible study at the end of September. So that'll be dope. Bible study episodes are the most popular episodes I do. Sometimes, like my friend was telling me the other day, I should do my show to where I just do Bible studies every episode. I was like, that'd be fun. But one, I don't have time, because that's why we do the Bible studies every other month, and it takes me that's why we pick the winner at the beginning of the month, because it takes me the whole month to prepare for that Bible study and study it out and whatnot. So I don't know, I wouldn't be able to do it every week unless I didn't have a job and stuff like that. But it'd be fun, but it's just not something I could feasibly do. But I enjoy doing it once a month, every other month. They get the most views out of all my videos, other than Bible reviews. So that's Bible study contest going on right now till next week. So that's all I got for the opening segment. Let's go and check in and see about the dispensation of human government. The dispensation of human government. So like we always do, we got the six things we break down. Who was God talking to in this dispensation? This is the dispensation that happened after the flood. Who was God talking to? Noah and his descendants. The time period is from the flood to the Tower of Babel, which was about 429 years. What was man's responsibility? Scatter and multiply. That's what God said in Genesis 9. Scatter and multiply, fill the earth. What was man's failure? They were unwilling to scatter. They didn't do what they were told to do. And Tower of Babel, they built the Tower of Babel. We'll get to that in a minute. What was God's judgment? Confusion of languages. Everybody spoke the same language. God made it to where they did not speak the same language. And this is Genesis 11, 1 through 4. Confusion of languages, Genesis 11, 5 through 9. And God's grace, Abraham was chosen to begin the Jewish race. Genesis 12, 1 through 3. So when we left off, God had destroyed mankind with a flood. Only Noah and his family had been spared. Now the flood waters have subsided, and a new dispensation is begun with a covenant. Genesis 9. And we'll read the Noahic covenant. Genesis 9, 8 through 17. And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl and of the cattle and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood. Neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. So that is the Noahic covenant. And by the way, if you're curious, Church Bible Publishers, hand-size Schofield's what I'm using. So Noah's sons were the basis for all the different races on earth. I use quotation marks when I say races, because there's only one race, the human race. But and these are his three sons and the races that spawned off of them. Ham, who was the Africans, Egypt, Canaan, Ethiopia, etc. Shem, which was the Middle Easterns, or the Semitic people, Arabia, Assyria, Lydia, Aramaic, and also, Asian folk. I don't know what's the correct term. I kept seeing the word Oriental. I don't know if Asians consider that word racist or not, but the Oriental folk came from Shem as well. And then Japheth, which was Caucasians, which would be, me and you if you're white and you're watching. The Europeans and Greeks and Russians and, stuff like that was Japheth. We are Japhethites. So after the flood, God sets man up to govern himself this time. Genesis 9, 1 through 7. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require, at the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for by the image of God made he man. And you be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. So when Cain murdered Abel, You remember that? Wasn't that long ago? A couple chapters ago. It was God who did the judging and the punishment for Cain. But now he's putting that responsibility on man, as we read there in verse 6. Verse 1 shows God's command to scatter and multiply. Right there in verse 1, it said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Well, you can't replenish the earth unless you scatter. The only problem was, man wasn't willing to do that, apparently. Y'all know we got a sin nature, and we're stubborn, and we're always doing things against the will of God, naturally. That's what we want to do, is things against the will of God. It didn't take long for man to fall back into sin. Noah got drunk and passed out. Apparently when Ham saw him passed out, he did something bad. Now I was reading this in Ruckman's Bible, in the Ruckman Reference Bible, and he mentioned that Ham must have done some sodomy to Noah. Now, when you first read it, where's it at? When you first read it, 22, chapter 9, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. So when you read that, you think to yourself, okay, Ham saw his father naked, and he went and told his brothers, and they covered him up and all this stuff like that. But then you read verse 24, and it says, and Noah awoke from his wine, and knew that his younger son had done unto him what his younger son had done unto him. How would you know if you were passed out? If all Ham did was see him naked, how would you know that from waking up? You wouldn't know. So I don't know exactly what it was Ham did. I'm not going to make no accusations. But he must have done something. And man's sin culminated at the Tower of Babel. Chapter 11. Where we at? Chapter 11, 1 through 9. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. See that part, lest we be scattered abroad? That's being scattered abroad is exactly what God wanted y'all to do, or wanted us to do. And they didn't do it. And then continue, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down there and confound their language, and they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Similar to the dispensation of innocence, they had one thing God told them to do, scatter and multiply, and they wouldn't do it, so God did it for them. And then the next step in God's salvific plan begins with Abraham, which we begin to read about later on, right after that. Actually, in verse number 10, it starts off with Abram's ancestry and stuff like that, and obviously we'll get into that with the next dispensation. But yeah, once again, the dispensation, like we mentioned, all dispensations end in apostasy, and that's what this one did. And that comment, one of the comments we got was talking about taking the Bible literally. He said that was the problem in dispensationalism. We have to take the Bible literally, and it robs it of the meaning. Well, I mean, God wrote what it means. Like, I feel like if you don't take the Bible literally, then you can come up with whatever you want for it to mean. Like if the Bible says this thing, you're like, I'll look at it and go, okay, well that's what God means, because that's what he wrote there. But if I don't take the Bible literally, I'm going to read it and be like, oh, let's see what else I can find this might mean. No, it means what God said it means. That's what it means. But anyway, that's all I got for you this week. Appreciate you joining us. Don't forget to join us next week. What is next week? Dispensation of Promise. Dispensation of Promise. Don't forget to like the Facebook page, which can be found at facebook.com/gospelovergimmicks. That's where we post things. We do giveaways there. We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do a sticker giveaway here on YouTube next week. So stay tuned for that. Give us a follow on Instagram at gospelovergimmicks, where I post a weekly updates of what's coming up on next week's episode. On Twitter, you can follow us at GXC_ministries. If you have a question, idea for a show, or you want to know more about how to be saved, you can email me at gospelovergimmicks@gmail.com. If you would like to support the podcast with a donation, you can go to patreon.com/gospelovergimmicks and become a patron. Help us. You can give $1 a month. That's all you got to do if you want to. If you don't want to give any, that's okay too. But let's talk about the people that do give some. Our patrons are Joanna Garrett, Roger Waters, Leanna Williams, and Rusty Williams. Those are our patrons. Wonderful people that help keep the ministry rolling along. If you want to subscribe to the audio portion of the podcast, it can be found at Spreaker, iTunes, Podcast Addict, Google Podcast, and Spotify. If you want to hear the content without having to look at my face, or maybe you're a Florida State fan or a Georgia fan and this shirt annoys you, you can always go just listen over there. So Carrie Waterfall won the Bible giveaway last week. Hope you got it. Hope you got it by now. It got shipped off Tuesday, so I'm assuming you got it, especially when this comes out Monday. You should have got it by now. And she's gonna do a shout out for us on her channel, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate y'all for watching and listening. Until next week, take up your cross, carry on. Send the light, the blessed gospel light.